The Liquored Up tour is on right now with Aaron Pritchett and Matt Lang. Cory Marks joins me. Cory, that song is pretty awesome. It gives me the feeling, and I haven't had this with any other song since it, but Friends in Low Places. When I watched the video, that's what I was feeling.
Yeah, it's a fun song, and we really enjoy playing the song every night together. And Matt Lang, of course, and Aaron Pritchett are just such great dudes, so it makes the song even more fun. And that's a video shoot I remember for quite a while. It was a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed playing that song live.
It looked like so much fun. You guys were like kids with Tonka trucks, and then by the end of it, you're drinking out of a Tonka truck.
Yeah, I get pretty creative, especially after a few pints. So I thought it'd be kind of funny and comedic to round up some shots or even pour some beer in the back of that Tonka truck and play with it a little differently. I mean, as a kid growing up, as a huge Tonka truck fan, and I had all kinds of Tonka trucks growing up, digging holes and stuff, and using them for what they're meant for. However, as we get older, I'm using it to chug beer out of, so having fun with it either way.
Well, and I saw another bottle going into that Tonka truck. Was that whiskey, or what kind of hard liquor was that?
Oh, I don't even know at this point. We did a lot of that the whole night. So I think there was some tequila, there was some whiskey, there was beer.
Sounds like a good hangover. So would you guys consider doing a Liquored Up, making your own brand of liquor?
Well, actually, Matt Lang has his own brand of liquor, and I forget what it's called. I hope he doesn't hate me for that. We had some on the tour, and it's quite nice. It's a sweet liquor. It's a maple syrup type.
You're talking to me from Alberta. You guys are almost halfway through this tour. How many dates? 34?
32 dates. We're currently on a stretch of 13 shows in a row. So we're actually on our way to Lloydminster, Alberta right now for show number 5 out of those 13.
And you're making your way all the way to the East Coast. Now, you're from North Bay. Any plans on doing anything up there?
I mean, I would love to. I'm actually, we're all quite surprised that we didn't have anything closer to home for me. I know we're playing Barrie and Parrystown, which are still about 2.5 hours from my hometown, unfortunately. So nothing in North Bay or surrounding area except for those 2 dates. However, we're having so much fun on this tour now. We're hoping to do a whole other Eastern leg, maybe in the fall or something like that, so we can hit up those cities like my hometown and play a lot more of the East Coast.
Well, it sounds like a fun tour, and you just had a song released last month, A Different Kind of Year it's called. It sounds fun, and it just sounds like the old times pre-pandemic when everyone's getting together for barbecues, and you're such a storyteller with your music. Don't worry about the music, the neighbors are going to come over and have a couple anyway, that sort of thing. So that's going to be on a new album you have coming out, right?
Yeah. So Different Kind of Year is the leading single for this next album coming out, which is going to be something very interesting. It's 20 tracks from country to country rock to hard rock and everything in between. It's a little Merle Haggard, it's a little Eric Church, it's a little Ozzy Osbourne, and a little Pantera. There's really nothing like it in the country music world, which makes me really proud to get this music out there and this whole project. It's very, very unique. There's 3 different producers on it. There's Kyle Odell, there's Kevin Churko, and there's Andrew Bayless as well, who's most recently done Jelly Roll Records and Brantley Gilbert. So it's really, and you have my main producer, Kevin Churko, doing Five Finger Death Punch Records, so it's one extreme to the other with this one, and it's a lot of great music that I'm really, really proud of and excited to share with the world.
It's an awesome kind of country with everything kind of going the way of pop. I feel like every time I turn on a country station, it's more pop than anything, so it's great to hear music like this. And with the arena rock / roots country sound, you must have been in your element at last year's Boots and Hearts with Nickelback, and then all the country going on around.
Yeah, that's really great, and I can't agree more. I think there's a little too much pop in this country music world for my liking, and it's kind of overdone. So I'm just trying to not be part of a change, but be the change that I think it desperately needs, and that's just mixing it up a little bit, adding, like you mentioned, a little amped up country or stadium country rock, if you will, but also sticking to the roots of my heroes like Merle Haggard and Brad Paisley and Travis Tritt. Really giving the fans that true country honky tonkin sound, but also mixing it up with some rock and roll and even some heavy metal. So it's a lot of fun being able to play a stage like that to 30,000 people or whatever it was opening up for Nickelback was certainly my element as a drummer prior to this. I was still a drummer, but that was my first, real kick at the can with the music thing. I was a drummer and I was in a metal band and all that kind of stuff. So mixing up stuff like Nickelback and Five Finger Death Punch even, and mixing all those genres together is a lot of fun, especially on such an amazing stage like Boots and Lights.
And when you have like someone who's true country like Travis Tritt saying that you're a little bit George Strait, you're a little bit Led Zeppelin and Leonard Skinner, what a quote.
Yeah, that was a pretty surreal thing to see. Actually, it was a friend that sent me the link and said, "Dude, you don't believe this, man. Travis Tritt's talking about you." And I thought to myself, "Well, shit. I hope he's saying good things. I hope he's got some good things to say." And then he sent me the link. I listened to it. And I thought, man, to be compared to, in that same realm as those names that he dropped was just, especially coming from a country music legend himself. I was completely honored and just really grateful for his belief in my music and now friendship. I mean, I get a Christmas card from the Tritt family every year, and him and I talk, probably a couple times a month just to keep in touch. So it's really cool to be part of his circle as well.
It's an awesome video too when you collaborated with him on Outlaws and Outsiders. If anyone hasn't seen that, oh my gosh, look it up. You collaborate with different people, but you do a lot of writing on your own too, right?
Yeah, I do. And typically, especially in the last project, I might come into the studio with an idea or a verse or even a chorus, and working with a guy like Kevin Churko, he'll either say, "Yeah, man, like for a song like My Whiskey or Wine, I just wrote it one night in half hour or whatever it was, and sent it to him on just like an iPhone demo." And he said, "We'll cut that tomorrow." There's songs like Drive. There's songs like Drive as well. That I wrote that on a napkin in an airplane because I couldn't sleep, and I just had this rhythm in my head, this beat, this story coming back from a music video. In my head, so I kind of fabricated that kind of storyline of this bit of a love interest, I guess, if you will. But then working with someone like Kevin, you walk into the studio with this good idea, or at least an idea you think is good, and he can help turn it into a great idea and a great song with his production and his songwriting skill as well. And we often write together as a tripod. It's myself, Kane, and his son Kevin Churko, who's also a really great producer, and we work on those songs together. So that's always a lot of fun, especially working with other great writers like that, and that'll either add to your song or just say, "Man, that's a kick-ass song," and they love what you're putting down. So it's a lot of fun. I do enjoy the writing process of these songs and these records, and they mean a lot to me.
And so when you're on stage, you generally play guitar, but you were talking about how you're originally a drummer.
Yeah, well, if I'm doing headlining festivals or events, typically if I have 75 minutes or more, usually 75 to 90 minutes, I'll do a drum solo. And it's something unique you don't often see, especially again in the country music world. But that's just adding a little bit more rock element to the show. And my dad has always called my drum solo since I was a kid the Kneel to Neil, a tribute to Neil Peart of Rush, nice. the greatest of all time.
Oh, that's awesome. True Canadian right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I guess so, huh?
You also were a hockey player. You got scouted by Ohio State University when you were a junior, and then you got into planes as well. Did you get your pilot license?
Yeah, I am a licensed pilot now, and I've been flying since I was about 18 years old, but officially a licensed pilot for about 3 or 4 years. And I grew up in a big hockey town and a hockey family. My brother is an NHL draft pick. He was drafted to the Columbus Blue Jackets in the 7th round in 2007. That was his thing. He was obsessed with hockey. I mean, he coaches it now, but he played professional for 14 years between the AHL, the East Coast, and some time in Europe, in the UK. However, I played some high school hockey, then decided after high school, I'll give this junior thing a shot. So I went and played some junior A, some major junior, and eventually, like you mentioned, I got scouted up by Ohio State University. But at 18 years old, fresh out of high school, the last thing I wanted to do was write an SAT and go back to test. So I kindly declined, which some of my friends called me crazy for doing that because it's quite the offer and quite the school, which eventually led me to the Royal Military College of Canada in Kingston, Ontario, where I enrolled as a pilot with hopes of being a fighter pilot and playing on the hockey team there. And I was there for several months before I decided, I'm going to give this music thing a shot. And here I am on the Liquored Up tour, crossing Canada for the 7th time now, coast to coast, since 2014.
That's awesome. And I was looking back just before the pandemic hit. You had quite the tour lined up. There was over 100 dates and you were all over the world. Well, supposed to be.
It was pretty surreal. I had 25 dates with Gord Bamford across Canada. I was going out on a huge amphitheater tour with Breaking Benjamin and Theory of a Dead Man and Bush. And that was going to be, I think that was 36 dates across the U.S. Then I had arena dates lined up with Alice Cooper, direct support for Alice Cooper on a handful of American dates there. But then we also were dipping into major Australian country festivals and tours, dipping into Germany, and even had some offers out of Italy.
Wow.
And playing like halftime shows at these massive soccer games out there. So like you said, it was 100 dates, and that doesn't even include the festivals here in Canada and the US. These were just straight up tours, either headlining or direct support, or on these big tours like the Breaking Benjamin one. And so it was 100 dates that just vanished and whatnot. Everybody went into hiatus for whatever it was, 18 months until things started rolling again.
So do you know any of the festival dates you're going to be doing for the summer of 2024?
Nothing planned right now. I know there's one close to home, a country festival just up north from where I'm from, and I'll be headlining that, but still waiting on those offers from these other major festivals across Canada and in the U.S. as we release new music. So I'm hoping to have another full summer of shows here in North America.
And when does the full album drop?
The album's scheduled for late June, early July. So, if we stick to our guns on that, which I'm hoping we do, there'll be a lot of new music out there, and I'll be ready to play those songs live anywhere I'm asked.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to hearing them, and best of luck on the rest of this tour, because you guys got quite a few dates left on the Liquored Up tour with Aaron Pritchett and Matt Lang. Thank you so much for taking the time with me today, Cory.
Thank you, Dana, so much. It was great talking with you, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.